Hey, how's it going, everyone? Hope you're having a good week. And look like we're live now. So I am actually on the road for work this week, and the intent was to original schedule was to be on the road all week, but it looks like that's going to be condensed a little bit, and I'll be heading home tomorrow. But the good thing is I brought my uh, swimming goggles and swim cap and my swim jammers, I guess they're called. And it turns out the hotel I'm staying in actually has like a 2-lane, 25-yard lap pool. So hopefully there's no kids down there. I'm going to try to get down there and get some swimming in after I get done with this video. So in the meantime, it feels like it's been forever since I've been on here. We went on vacation last week, so that was a nice break and getaway. But I've had a lot on my mind, been doing a lot of research, and just kind of thought, hey, this is a good time for me to get back on here and just kind of share some of the research, some of the things that I've been practicing and what training I've been doing. Now, I'll be the first to say I haven't followed my training plan at all for the last couple of weeks, but I feel like I'm in good enough position for basically everything to make up for that in the coming weeks, because I don't know the exact number. I should know the exact number. I think it's about 13 weeks out from the event. And before that, in about 4 weeks, I've got my first uh, Olympic distance triathlon that's open water. So um, we'll see. I mean, I'm just kind of using that as a barometer and be my first chance to do a race in open water. So I've got a few things. I brought my Finis earplugs with me. This is the case they come in. Basically, this is just to protect them, because this is the part that goes in your ear. They pull out. This is just kind of a travel case, so to speak. But these are, I guess you'd call them silicone earplugs. And I held on to these reluctantly a couple of years ago uh, after I bought them and first tried them. And I don't think that I was giving them enough chance. I think I tried twice, and it felt like there was pounding. It turns out I don't think I got them in all the way. Plus, I have off and on had allergy issues where my ears can feel like they're flooded, and I haven't historically done a good job of managing that. But now, when I do have it, my doctor gave me a little bit of better regimen to combat that. So, anyway, tried these 2 weeks ago, and it was different. It feels they were installed correctly. I enjoyed wearing them. It keeps the water from running off your cap and down into your ear when you're turning to take a breath, which I appreciated, because that can get pretty old. So um, I installed these in my ears the last swim I did, and it felt pretty good. Didn't have any problem with them kind of working out. It didn't hurt my ears. So I'm going to keep using these. That's obviously why I brought them with me today, and so I expect them to continue to work, but after a few times of trying them, I'll be able to say for sure. So I wanted to talk about those. The brand is Finis, Finis. For people that are familiar with swimming, that's not a new brand, but for people that aren't, it can be something that's kind of new. So I wanted to kind of get those in front of you and let you know. I've been doing quite a bit of research on gear and things like swimming paddles and goggles, just general gear, not necessarily just training gear. So day of gear, training gear, kind of everything. But swim paddle research was new to me. Where I swam in Texas, which is really the last time I consistently swam a couple years ago, they had this complex had a nice supply of like the floaters that you put between your legs, so that when you just want to do your arm strokes and work your arms, upper body. And then they had the obvious like paddle boards, and they had a couple other things. Um, they did have hand paddles there, but I never used them. And I saw them, and I at the time never really uh, knew what kind of benefit they could bring or what the overall use was, what the objective was. Until now, I've done a little bit more research, and I think that I'll be buying some soon. I haven't bought any yet. Just trying to figure out. It's hard to tell based online like what size you would need. It sounds kind of silly, but different brands recommend different sizes based on your age, based on your strength, based on your overall hand size, and some actually are meant to be specifically to train your form. Some are meant to be like a strength training. And I just did some Googling and found some video, or I guess YouTube, and found some videos that helped out quite a bit on, I don't think I still have one pulled up on my phone. I should have noted who that was. Let me see if I can pull it up real quick. So I think it might have been Triathlon Taren, Taren, on YouTube. He has quite a bit of insight on several things from biking. I'm not 100% sure. I've watched some of his videos, so that may not be accurate. But anyway, we I just realized the picture was really bad. That light was in the way. So swim paddle research has been something that I was looking at, watching videos, and trying to decide. After watching the videos, I personally think that I would want something for strength and just kind of training my overall like catch and pull, as opposed to the direction of my hand. I feel like just based on reading and about the paddle design, there's a paddle design that's pretty triangular, and it can actually, if it's used wrong, it can actually damage your shoulder, the way I understand it. And it's just meant for you to get the right like angle and movement in your hand, and not so much about giving you a bunch of mass, right? Because it's almost like taking your hand, it's not much wider than your hand, and just creating a cone. So there's a style like that, it's just triangle, and it has a little something sticking on the bottom perpendicular. It's meant to kind of help you with your entry angle. And so that's not the style that I'm interested in. The style that I'm interested in is it's more of a paddle that's bigger than your hand, and it's kind of obvious. It looks like a big bear claw, and that is what I'm interested in to try to build my pull patterns and strength and work on that kind of training. So I wanted to bring those up. That was something new to me, and I thought that was something relevant and worth mentioning. Some people don't do paddles at all. Some people will do both, and but there's a lot of good videos on YouTube to reference that. So swim cap, I had a little mishap. I guess I've gotten in 2 small swims since my last swim video, relatively short swims. And in the first one of those, my swim cap literally just split in half as I was swimming. So all of a sudden I just feel a bunch of cold water on my head, and I'm like, what the heck's going on? So I take my goggles off, and my swim cap had split in 2. So that was interesting. But the only other swim cap I had, I actually got in a triathlon I did. That's what the number's for. But it's a tier, I guess is how you say it. I should know that. Brand, and it's just like your latex, like thin, basic, I don't know, $5 or whatever swim cap. So I never really have liked these, but I guess I, for whatever reason, haven't taken the time to look for or spend the money on a different style. But the silicone thicker swim caps they don't they just behave a lot better, and they're better quality. So I've got one saved. It's a Roka. I've got it saved on my phone on a website basically in a shopping cart of a few things that I wanted to buy. But these have always kind of irritated me, caught my hair, as you're trying to put it on. Even if you wet the inside before you put it on, you pull it on, it catches your hair. It's just uncomfortable. But then again, I didn't spend any money on this. It was included in my race fee, like most are. So I guess it wasn't out very much. But now that I'm swimming more diligently and trying to up my game a little bit, I'll definitely be buying a silicone hat. I think it's $10 one, and I've seen a few in stores that are $10. I just wanted the Roka one. But so I want to mention that as well, just kind of where I'm at on gear and some research things on the stroke and things like that. The other thing I've done some research on, read some articles, watch the videos, is how do you get in open water shape and endurance and just mentality by training in a pool, right? And not many people can just day-to-day train in a lake unless you got a lake outside your house that's worth swimming in. And so I guess a couple things that are relative to that. One is I've learned what swim buoys are, and essentially it's a belt, an orange, or I guess they make a neon yellow. It's a something that will go around your waist while you're swimming, and just have like a little buoy that's sticking up. I don't know how tall they are, maybe 18 inches, sticking up out of the water just to give you visibility. Now, ideally, you would have a boat or somebody in a kayak or something like that next to you, swimming in the lake or pond. But regardless, they make these buoys that I've actually seen and talked to some people that have used and been effective. Because the last thing you want is for a boat or jet ski to not see you. That's kind of scary to think about. But aside from that, I found a good article through the Team USA Triathlon website that talks about techniques for training in a pool to help simulate and get you ready for open water. So it throws out a lot of things from let's see, your pace, doing some surging, like trying to simulate the fact that you're not going to be at a constant pace the whole time. And along with that, it talks about doing what like suicides, like you would think about suicides on a football field. You run to the 10, you run back, you run to 20, you run back. This is setting markers along the pool side or just having some kind of stopping point and turning around once you get to that point and heading back to the wall. And of course, when you turn around, you don't have anything to push off of. So it's kind of a dead turnaround, so to speak. So it creates that like movement in the water where you're not just in a pool and getting a push off and get leverage on the wall every time you're changing direction. Drafting, it talks a lot about drafting behind bubbles, getting comfortable, not being, having total visibility. It talks about getting comfortable, swimming with other people, not being the only one in the pool, people touching your feet, you touching other people's feet, things like that. And, there's a lot of Tarzan drill is one thing they refer to, like swimming with your head totally out of the water while you're doing your freestyle stroke. And just to get used to that upward visibility. And then there's a few more things. The only thing I wanted to point out was breathing drill. So something I'll probably try today in my swimming here in a minute will be breathing drills, trying to basically test or build that endurance in your lungs for how many strokes you can go without breathing. I've noticed currently, and I never really thought about it like the way they put it, to kind of do increments for how long you're gonna hold your breath, and it goes into some detail about the actual drills that it would recommend. But anyway, it made me think about like right now, while I'm warming up, I'm every 3, 4, 5 strokes, and then I'll take a breath, and probably most times catch a breath when I'm turning around. I don't really push my breathing, and I really don't even push my breathing when I speed up to like training pace or like a full sprint or all out pace. Uh, I go pretty quickly to breathing every other stroke on my left side, and so um, I know that lung capacity and that kind of training is important. So I'm going to work on that. The other thing it talks about is, I mean, I don't know that it suggests that you can simulate this, but it basically said be prepared to gulp water because it's not a steel pool and you got a bunch of people around you drumming up water and stuff like that. So I know it's a lot. I realized just now on the clock I'm at 15 minutes. So 15 minutes went by quick for me. I'm going to go get in the pool. Hope you are having a good day. Next time, I've been doing some research on nutrition, and I know that nutrition is a critical part of the strategy behind completing a successful Ironman. And so I've talked to a friend of mine, got a plan to talk to another one, just been doing some research, figure out what works for different people, and trying to actually put pen to paper and create my own plan because I never, even having done, a few marathons and a few half marathons, several 5Ks, stuff like that. I guess nutrition, I never put a whole lot of thought into it, so as much as I should have. So this is a good time for me to kind of pivot off of that and invest a little more time. And so